Gonna let you guys know before we start, you need to buckle up because this story is a wild ride. There's a viral video that has been floating around on the internet now for over 10 years and it goes by two names, those names being Democracy Manifest and Succulent Chinese Meal. Despite the names associated with the video, it has little to do with politics or a plate of sweet and sour chicken. Rather, the video showcases a man being arrested, apparently for dine and dashing at a Chinese restaurant located in Sydney, Australia. This crook is an eloquent wordsmith, and Democracy Manifest and Succulent Chinese Meal are just two of the charismatically stated phrases that he speaks when he's being arrested.
We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
Since the video was discovered in the late 2000s, people have worked tirelessly to piece together the backstory behind it, and more importantly, the man in it. A commonly accepted theory is that the man in the footage was a now deceased world-renowned Hungarian chess player with a penchant for petty crimes and Chinese cuisine. People have believed this theory for years, but does it hold any weight? Well, recent developments have poked holes in this explanation. Today I'm going to navigate through the misinformation surrounding this video and hopefully piece together the real story behind the enigma that is Democracy Manifest / Succulent Chinese Meal Guy. The story of this video and its online spread begins like the spread of many other viral YouTube videos on a small random channel. A user known as Illtown20 uploaded Democracy Manifest to his YouTube channel on January 12th of 2009. Upon watching the video, it becomes clear after considering the footage quality and appearance of the men in it that the footage itself is much older than the date of its upload. Nothing in the description indicated what the original date might have been, but it's clearly old. The description of this video did provide some useful information in regards to the context of this video, as it was the first indication that the man in it may have been some kind of Hungarian chess player. The description read, "Funny drunk man, Paul Charles Doja, hungry Hungarian, original succulent Chinese meal, receive my limp, nice headlock, sir." Surprisingly, there's quite the plethora of information available online about this Paul Charles Doja character, and what curious internet sleuths uncovered painted him as quite the eccentric character. Paul Charles Doja was a chess grandmaster who had been participating in worldwide chess tournaments dating back to at least the 1950s. His ChessGames.com record provides a brief excerpt of biographical information about him. Paul Charles Doja was born in Szeged, Hungary in 1940. In the mid-1960s, he immigrated to Australia. He died in Melbourne in 2003, aged 63. An eccentric character, he was repeatedly convicted of dining in restaurants then declining to pay his bill. Further research showed that Doja was for all intents and purposes a wanted international criminal with over 100 charges, almost all of his crimes resulting from restaurant food thefts. He was known by police as the restaurant runner. He was wanted in several countries including Hungary, Indonesia, New Zealand, and Australia for dining at expensive restaurants and hotels, then running out before the bill came. The description of Paul Charles Doja as this serial dine and dasher certainly syncs up with the behavior showcased in the Democracy Manifest video. And when you compare a photo of Doja with a still image of the man in the Democracy Manifest video clip, it does look like the same person. Fans of the Democracy Manifest video have also dug up old 1990s news clippings that seem to describe a situation that is being displayed in the Democracy Manifest video, and Paul Charles Doja is attributed to the crime/arrest. Ex-chef fined after refusing to pay bills for meals he ate. Sydney, Australia. A former chef who dines at expensive restaurants and then pleads poverty has been convicted for the 54th time of refusing to pay for a meal. Paul Charles Doja, 48, dubbed the restaurant runner by local newspapers, was fined $160 on Monday for refusing to pay a $50 bill at a Chinese restaurant. The following day, he dined out at the 5-star Sheraton Wentworth Hotel, then told the staff he could not pay for the $48 check. He was fined $200 for that offense on Wednesday and ordered to compensate the restaurant. So not only do you have the physical similarities here in the face of Doja compared to Democracy Manifest guy, you've also got newspaper clippings that are stating that a Paul Charles Doja was responsible for a Chinese meal theft at some point. When you put these two factors together, it almost seems like 100% slam dunk confirmed that Paul Charles Doja was the Democracy Manifest guy. And the backstory of Democracy Manifest has been reported this way online by various media sources for years. That story being that Democracy Manifest was a video showcasing one of the many arrests of the now deceased international criminal chess grandmaster Paul Charles Doja. It's a logical narrative that makes sense. But what if I told you all we've been fed misinformation this entire time and the Paul Charles Doja story being Democracy Manifest guy is completely bogus? Well, that certainly seems like the case because we now have a much better Democracy Manifest candidate, a man that's still alive. Allow me to explain. In recent years, an Australian man living in Brisbane has been claiming personhood of Democracy Manifest guy, and he has an extremely convincing case for himself. He goes by the name Jack K, but this is an alias of sorts. His real name is reportedly Cecil George Edwards. Footage has popped up online featuring this Jack K guy speaking, and he looks and sounds scarily similar to the original Democracy Manifest guy.
Democracy Manifest.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
This same Jack K fellow was also featured in a viral music video produced by an Australian band called The Chats, where in the video he played the Democracy Manifest guy in a recreated skit of sorts.
This is Democracy Manifest. God, you've done judo before, haven't you? Magnificently so.
Okay, so we have a guy that looks and sounds like Democracy Manifest guy, and some Australian punk rock bands seem to think it was him. What if it's just a really good impersonator? Well, this doesn't appear to be the case. It seems like Jack K's legit. I say this because very recently he did an interview with Sportsbet, and in this interview he showcased never before seen footage of the Democracy Manifest video. This footage was a news commentated version of it, and in the news commentated version it clearly attributes a man named Cecil George Edwards to the crime of succulent Chinese meal theft. Here's a brief clip from the interview which showcases Jack K / Cecil George Edwards speaking, and it also includes the commentated news clip I talked about a moment ago. If you want to watch the full interview, feel free to check out the link in the description box.
You see me? I am Mr. Democracy Manifest, not some Hungarian chess player. It is I. Surrounded the place and come and arrested me.
When Cecil George Edwards was arrested in the Chinatown Mall last Friday, the Valley Police thought they had one of Queensland's most wanted. Instead, he was a petty criminal, working under several aliases, the police allege, a con man with a flair for acting. Cecil George Edwards was Cecil George Edwards was Cecil George Edwards was...
So yeah, it looks like Cecil George Edwards / Jack K is Democracy Manifest guy confirmed? But I know you're thinking, Wavy, what about those old newspaper clippings from the 1990s? Those clippings said that Paul Charles Doja did the crime, and the situation mirrors the Democracy Manifest video. What's up with that? Well, the truth is a bit complicated, but I'll try to explain. What the case here seems to be is that these articles were actually written about a completely different Chinese meal arrest incident in which Paul Charles Doja was apprehended. Apparently, Cecil George Edwards was arrested in a botched sting operation of sorts that was intended to arrest Doja at a Chinese restaurant that both men frequented. The two men looked similar in appearance, so police mistook Cecil George Edwards for Doja. Thus, Edwards was arrested by mistake, and Democracy Manifest was born. Sometime later, Doja would be arrested and convicted for a completely different Chinese meal incident, resulting in these newspaper clippings that attribute Doja with the crime. So basically, these newspaper clippings actually have nothing to do with the Democracy Manifest video. It's just a very similar situation, and one I could see people getting confused about. Additionally, recall that the commentated news footage indeed says that Cecil George Edwards was the man arrested in the footage, not Doja. So yes, I think at this point it's fair to say that we can confirm that Democracy Manifest guy is not some chess player. He's not dead. He's alive and well, and his name is Jack K / Cecil George Edwards. And if you're skeptical about the name change from Cecil George Edwards to Jack K, as it's not 100% confirmed by any sort of document at this point, recall the reporter in the clip stating that Cecil George Edwards was a man known for, quote, working under several aliases.
Instead, he was a petty criminal working under several aliases.
Is it that far out of the realm of possibility that Jack K is just the latest name change? When you consider Jack K's appearance, voice, and exclusive footage that he's able to provide, I'm convinced that this is very much the case, and Jack K and Cecil George Edwards are one and the same. It's impossible to say why Jack K has waited this long to capitalize on the meme, but it looks like he's finally owning it. And to say he's making a profit off of his meme hood would be an understatement. Jack K now has an Instagram page called Mr. Democracy Manifest, where he showcases the many paintings he has created, even selling some of them to interested buyers. Additionally, either him or someone affiliated with him has created a website. On this website you can purchase some Get Your Hands Off My Pinot wine and other various Democracy Manifest meme related items. This has been an exhausting story to tell. It's a labyrinth for sure. It looks like we really have found Democracy Manifest guy, and he's not some Hungarian chess player. But yeah, let me know who or what you want me to talk about next, and I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.